Welcome to Phoenix Podcast, hosted by Amin Moanian. Great to have you all with us.
Thanks for having me.
Here at Phoenix Podcast, we like to dive deep into the heart of politics and current events. Today, we're going to tackle something. It's been causing quite a stir for decades now. Antitrust laws.
Oh, yeah. Big topic.
Yeah, we're going to look at it from both sides. From the perspective of conventional economics and, let's just say, the more free-thinking Austrian school. What are these antitrust laws really doing? Are they actually helping us or maybe kind of holding us back?
Well, I think it's fair to say that these two schools of thought, conventional and Austrian, they see the same economic landscape, but they don't always see the same thing, if you know what I mean.
Right, they're looking at the same thing but coming up with totally different conclusions. So let's start with conventional economics. I vaguely remember this from college. The idea of perfect competition. Tons of businesses out there all selling the same product, everyone knowing the prices, and new businesses popping up all the time. It's kind of like a perfect utopia for consumers.
Yeah, you got it. That's the ideal model. And because of that, a lot of conventional economists think antitrust laws are absolutely necessary. They see these laws as a way to push the real world a bit closer to this perfect competition idea. Bust up those big monopolies, protect consumers from companies trying to jack up prices.
Right, so it's kind of like the government's playing referee, making sure no one gets too powerful, too greedy, and everyone has a fair shot. But now let's bring in the Austrian school. They're not exactly buying into this whole perfect competition utopia, are they?
Not really. Nope. They see competition as this dynamic process, like a river that's constantly flowing and changing. It's not a stagnant pond. Think about it. Like, say you're trying to invent a brand new cutting-edge smartphone. Nobody, not even you, can predict what features will be a hit until people actually start using it, buying it. They vote with their wallets.
So the market's like this giant feedback loop. People buy what they like, and businesses have to adapt, innovate to keep up and stay in the game. The prices are like signals, telling everyone what's hot and what's not.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. And the Austrian school argues that those antitrust laws, they actually mess up these signals. Imagine the government says, okay, no smartphones can be sold below this price. They set a price floor. Well, that completely messes with the natural feedback loop. What if a new company could have made an even better, more affordable phone? Now they can't compete. They're shut out.
So it's like the government, in trying to be fair, ends up picking winners and losers. And that can stifle innovation, right?
Yeah, and that's a major concern for Austrian economists. They really believe that the foundation of a truly free market is secure property rights. People need to know they can own things, create things, and profit from their hard work. That's what encourages investment, risk-taking. But when the government starts, meddling too much, it throws the whole system out of whack.
So let's say a company creates an amazing product, attracts a huge customer base, and becomes, well, dominant in the market. Should we automatically assume they did something shady, something underhanded to get there?
Well, the Austrian school would probably say, hold on a minute, let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe they just figured out how to serve their customers better than anyone else. Does punishing success just because a company grows big really make sense?
Okay, now things are getting a bit politically charged. Because when we talk about government intervention in the market, we're also talking about power dynamics, right?
Absolutely. And Austrian economists, they understand that political motivations can sometimes, well, distort how antitrust laws are applied. It's not always about protecting competition. Sometimes it might be about protecting certain businesses or scoring political points.
Yeah, good intentions don't always lead to the best outcomes. And are there real-world examples where these antitrust laws actually backfired?
Definitely. There have been cases where, these laws ended up protecting less efficient companies simply because they were smaller, or situations where innovation was stifled because companies were too afraid to grow. They worried they'd become a target.
So where does all this leave us? What are we supposed to think about these antitrust laws? I mean, we all want a strong economy, a better standard of living. What's the best path forward?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? Both sides, conventional economics and the Austrian school, they both have valid points. It really boils down to how much faith you have in the ability of free markets to regulate themselves versus how much you think the government needs to step in.
It's a lot to think about. So to our listeners, next time you hear about an antitrust case in the news, remember these different perspectives. Is it truly about promoting competition? Or is there maybe something else going on beneath the surface? Is government intervention actually helping? Or could it, potentially be making things worse in the long run? Dig a little deeper, do your own research, weigh the evidence, and then form your own conclusions. Thanks for joining us today on Phoenix Podcast. We'll see you next time.
My pleasure.
Bye for now.